Peter One, welcome to eTown. So good to have you here. So good to hear you sing. So cool.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
No, it's great. It's just it's an amazing story, and I want to just start at the beginning if I could. So you were in college in Abidjan, and you started hearing music, American music, and were you already playing guitar and singing, or were you just enjoying the music? What was your life like at the time?
Yeah. When I was in college, I was already playing guitar. I started playing guitar late in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the I would say the late 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I got to college, I had enough money from my financial aid to buy my own guitar, a brand new one,
Nice.
and buy some music also.
There's a story I heard about you going into a music shop and looking around, and you say, "Well, what's that up there?" And
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. I used to hear some music from the radio because I didn't have a turntable at home. We didn't have a television. All the music was through the radio. So I was hearing some of the music, American music, French music. And in the late 70s, we started listening to some music that is different from the rhythm and blues, pop music, disco. This music is like the folk music, country music. So I heard the first time the boxer from Simon and Garfunkel. Yeah. I was in high school. That was, I think, in 1977, 78, something like that.
Yeah.
And from there, I was attracted to that music. And I heard some more from Cat Stevens, from Crosby, Still, Nash and Young,
Yeah.
through the radio. So when I got in college, I was one day passing by a music store. Usually I pass by, I'm not interested because they always play the same African music or that. But this day I say, okay, I have some money, let me go buy me some music. I went there to buy African music. As soon as I got there, I saw on the wall, on the highest shelf, Simon and Garfunkel in Central Park.
Yeah.
Next to it, Bob Dylan, Hurricane. Next to it, Crosby, Still, Nash and Young. I said, wow. Next to it, Cat Stevens. I said, okay, let me have all these. Yeah.
Well, it's so cool because you found music that spoke to you, and you found artists whose songs you could relate to and understand, even though you were speaking French tout le temps, que français tout le temps.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But then you could actually learn the songs and play them, and then you found a musical partner. And you formed a duet that was known as the Simon and Garfunkel of Côte d'Ivoire. You were famous in that way.
Yes, that's true. Actually, when we started playing, we didn't even know that something was called folk music or country music. We just went by the sound, the guitar, acoustic guitar, and the vocal. That's what we're doing. We did a lot of radio shows, TV shows, until we released our first album. And people, by listening to what we were doing, they are the one who labeled our music as country music.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. But what was cool is that it grew, and you became well known to the point where not only, as I understand it, you were playing some shows in very big places.
Yes.
But also, I understand that the BBC used a song of yours for the live televised release of Nelson Mandela from prison.
That's true.
That was a song of yours that was the soundtrack for that moment, which is incredibly important in African history.
Yeah, that song is called African Chants. It's on the album Our Garden Needs Flower.
Yeah. So you had this great career, and you're playing big crowds, in front of big crowds, but it wasn't enough, and you wanted more, and you came to the United States, the land where all this music came from that spoke to you. You land in New York City, you land in Harlem. You find that the rough streets of New York are a little too rough for you, and you got the heck out of there.
Yeah.
Went to Delaware, right?
Yes. Yeah, actually, I came to, improve my music and get more in the music business, buy equipment and go back, improve my, my production on that. But at the same time, the country back home wasn't stable. There was too much political turmoil, and that's what made me decide to stay.
Yeah. So did you have to apply for asylum, or how did you do that? When your country is in turmoil, did you have to go through immigration that was tough? Was that a hard thing to do?
No, I could not apply for asylum because I didn't have any particular problem with the regime.
I see.
No, I couldn't apply for asylum. What would be my reason?
Right.
But I foresaw the situation, the trouble coming up. There was too much political killing or that, and I knew that something was going to happen.
Yeah.
That was in 1995. 2 years later, the trouble started. 3 years later, we had the first coup, military coup.
Yeah.
And that's when everything started scrambling.
Yeah. Well, you eventually got to bring your family here, and then you got a gig as a nurse moving to Nashville. And when you landed in Nashville, that must have felt pretty good for a guy who was labeled as playing country music back in Côte d'Ivoire. It's like, now I'm in the capital of country music.
Yeah, but the thing is I don't know. When I was coming to Nashville, it was like God sent me because I was in the U.S. since 1995. In 2013, I was in Delaware. I never dreamed of living in Nashville.
Right.
Even though I knew about Nashville, I never dreamed about it because I didn't know anybody there. I didn't have any connection, nothing. So to me, I could stay somewhere in the U.S. and maybe find what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And the nursing job gave me the opportunity to come to Tennessee. When I got this opportunity, I said to myself, God has sent me here for a reason. So let's grab it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And now and you're part of two communities in Nashville that I think is pretty interesting. One community is there's a lot of people from Africa who live in. There's Ivorian community, there's Senegalese community, there's a Somali community. There's different communities in and around Nashville that are substantial.
Yes, a lot of African community from West Africa, from Eastern Africa, from Central Africa, from Northern Africa, a lot of African communities.
And are there ways to connect like through churches or communities where you can connect with each other? And I imagine the French-speaking West Africans hang together, whether they're from Mali or Côte d'Ivoire.
Exactly. Ivorian, they usually go with Congolese.
Congolese, yeah.
In the same church. Because the other communities speak English.
Yeah.
And the church service is in English. People are not really comfortable with that, so they'd rather go to where the service is in French.
Yeah.
Other than that, when they have other opportunity, other occasion, they mix together.
Yeah.
They mix together. Yeah.
The other community that you're part of is the music community, and there's a bunch of people. I know Allison Russell sings on your new record, and there's a bunch of people who play with you now. And I suspect that it wasn't long ago that you never thought you would be traveling to play music again.
Oh.
A few years ago, you probably were like, "Yeah, I'm coming to the end of my career in nursing, and I have aspirations, but I don't have a pathway."
No, I was always optimistic.
You were always optimistic.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. Yeah. I didn't know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, but I knew that something's going to happen.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, seriously.
That's very cool.
Because I remember once I told to one of my fellow nurses, I told her that when I retire from nursing, I'll be busy doing music. And she asked me, what kind of music are you talking about? And it happened.
Yeah. And did you play on the Grand Ole Opry?
Yes, last year. Yes.
That's wild.
Last year in January,
That's wild.
yeah. That was a very great experience, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just such an unlikely and wonderful story. And I'm glad to be part of it. So I'm glad you're here. We've got more music to play. Welcome back, if you would, now from Nashville, Tennessee, Peter One.